Hello. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh, that's not right. That's the wrong screen. There he is. Hey, everybody. It's me. It's Andy, Decayed Andy. Moonbase 2 podcast. It's the right day, right? It should be the right day. It is Sunday. I was all discombobulated. It's Sunday. It's Transformers Day. We have a week before San Diego Comic-Con, which I will, of course, repeat when we start the proper show in a memento, but I thought we'll do it Beast Wars time, or at least looking at Beast Wars Transmetals, because obviously there's not a huge amount going on, as usual, in the world of Transformers, and that makes a lot of sense, because we've got the big lead-up for San Diego Comic-Con. We saw the Studio Series Optimus Prime, which we'll probably talk a little bit in the show, but I assume that was one of their big, like, this is our showpiece for San Diego Comic-Con. I guess we're going to have a fully done prototype there, I would guess, right? It would be weird if they didn't. So people will be able to look at it in person and get to show off how big his fucking huge backpack will be. Ha ha ha! Because it's a little big, but yeah, it didn't look too bad. But yeah, like I say, I better actually bring up the story. So I can talk about it in the show, because I don't actually have it up. Yeah, another reason I decided to do this was, apart from Prime, there was very little, and I thought, well, next week it's going to be pretty chocker with news. So, just wait 1 week. Wait 1 week, and then we'll get the good news. But where's the Optimus Prime? I don't care about his box. I'm sorry. I don't need to talk about his box. His box is exactly what you would expect it. Well, at least exactly what I expected it to be. I think if you expected it to be anything else, well, I don't know what you wanted. I don't know. All right, that'll do. All right. Shall we talk about some bloomin' Beast Wars? I think we should. Let's get on. Play that funky music, white boy. That's me. And we'll start talking about some Transformers. Okay. Music time.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decayed Andy. It is another week. It's a warm week, a very muggy, sticky week, at least here in the UK, which is always fun. Always like them. News is pretty light this week for the most part. We do have the Studio Series Optimus Primo, which I'll talk about at the end of the show. We're not talking about any of the news this week because San Diego Comic-Con is next week, according to all sources. So we're going to wait and hopefully have a lot of things to talk about there. Obviously, they'll have probably a full-on prototype of the Optimus Prime, so we can get all the sexy shots from front to back, and maybe they'll show a few other things off there as well. One would hope. The next wave of Legacia, who knows? Some upgraded figures that don't use more translucent plastic for either Studio Series or their other like generation stuff. Who knows? Who knows? But this week, we're going back in time to 1998. The good times, and talking about Beast Wars Transmetals. That's window capture. That's not what I want. Where is it? There it is. There it is. That's the sausage maker. That's the stuff you like to see. Okay, hang on. Let's finagle the right box. That's not the right box. Yes, no. Oh no! Well, we'll leave it as is. Hang on. What if I do this? I'm gonna do this. Yeah. And we'll scoosh over the thing so it's in a good spot. Yeah, I'm watching the Energon Party again on YouTube. Don't judge me. It's a good video. All right, there we go. Okay, fantastic. So, as with usual, with how we're talking about these toys, we're going to be talking about basics first, to deluxes, to megas, to ultras, to super. Because for 1998, they decided that Optimal Optimus had to go outside the norm, and he had to get his own size class, which is just super. Ha! But yeah, oddly enough, a lot of the basic figures are Fuzors, i.e. characters that didn't appear in the show. I think you get most of the cast from the TV show is here in this wave for 1998, which is good. And I think a vast majority of 99's Transmetal and Transmetal 2 stuff is primarily like not show stuff. There's a few, but not a huge amount. Starting off with Airhammer, a Fuzor, a mix between a Burb and a Hammerhead Shark, which is an interesting idea of meshy things to do. Not one that I had as a kid, but I think for a basic, it's got some pretty nice paint on the Hammerhead Shark bird mode thing. We don't get a picture of the underside of it. We only get the picture of the top side on TFU. But it seems fairly good. The plastic's not exactly white, but it's kind of a pearlescent-y kind of color, which is quite nice. Details okay. I'm not sure if it's a great blend between the two modes. Animals. You definitely get the fish side in the head and the fin, and then the tail in the back. But it's I think because most of it's primarily burb, it kind of takes away from the sharkness of it. The sharkiness. The robot mode, however, I think is pretty interesting looking. Kind of feels like Air Razor. It's got that Air Razor vibe. I think because of the head design and because the wings stick out the same way that Air Razor previously did in the first season. No hands. A lot of the the Fuzors don't have hands. They have just things, animal things, where their hands should be. So we've got a shark tail fin and a pincer, which I'm assuming is meant to be the shark head. Not a terrible idea. I don't think if it is meant to be a shark head, it's represented desperately well. And you've got a thing that usually happened, which happened with the Tarantulas figure and a few others over the years with the ball joints in the Beast Wars line, and it was weird placement of where the bend would be for the ball joint. So with the head, no, maybe I guess that's okay, because the elbow bend would mean that you could raise a hand up and it could still pincer. So maybe that is okay. Maybe I'm just being stupid. That could be a thing. No weapons to speak of for obvious reasons. No hands means no holy things hands. There's nothing to do. Skyhammer, Airhammer is definitely one I would like to get. Oddly enough, no recolors, no remolds, nothing. It's just one Airhammer, and that's it. You were done and dusted, which is a bit of a shame because I like the look of this. I don't think a lot of the Fuzors got a lot of love outside their first one. Quick Strike, one from the actual TV show. The mix between, for those not aware, a Scorpiono and a Cobra. Actually pretty good. I think this toy and figure, especially for basic, is pretty fun. It does everything it has to. The big downside to it is all of the yellow is translucent plastic. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I do, because it was the style of the time. Yeah, so Abe Simpson would say. But yeah, in retrospect, looking back at it, it's like, this was just, all of it? Okay, yeah, sure. Not a lot of places I've seen where it can break, but there are multiple ball joints for the tail. Until you get to the head, the snake head part, then it's kind of there's a clear like cutoff point for how much moving you could do. It had a water squirter gimmick in it, which is, water squirting. I get it. It's a cobra, spitting cobra. It spits venom and stuff. Are meant to be shooting, but yeah, it's, no, not the coolest thing. Robot mode and transformation I enjoyed. There is the arms, both of his arms are on a let's just say a bar that has a screw in the middle, and you turn that bar, and that's basically how you switch it from the tail and the front and the spider legs being the front to having a horizontal view. It's not the most complex of transformations. You do just stick his head on his ass, which is a bit of a shame. I don't remember having any trouble standing him or any issues like that, but yeah, I think my biggest issue generally was, translucent plastic. Would have preferred him not to be translucent. Did he ever get redo? Metal Quick Strike, which is the Japanese version. Is that any different? It looks like Japan just gave him a more premium paint. And even then, not a lot. It just looks like the head. Yeah, the head got a little bit more. He actually got painted eyes, and his little mouth tube thing got a bit of paint on it as well. Did the scorpion spider? Having a quick look. I mean, this could be the same image, but I have a feeling there wasn't a huge amount added. And again, Quickstrike, that's it. The name has been used a few other times outside of this guy, but yeah, again, it's the one and only. Yeah, a solid one. I like it a decent amount. It's a fun one to play with, pick up. One that I haven't had is Bantor. I don't think I've heard great things about Bantor. Better things than Apeling. Apling's the one from, I think, 99, which people are saying is fucking terrible. This seems to be a cross between a baboon and a tiger, I'm guessing. It's got stripes on it. It could be a tiger. But unfortunately, when you do a baboon and you give it a tiger ass, it doesn't have the baboon bottom. And I think that's a big shame. You always want baboon bottom. A fairly okay, like, beast mode thing. They gave it really big front legs because they're clearly the legs of the robot mode. And the back legs are quite short. But I think it kind of works having the misproportioned legs, because you could argue that the back legs are more monkey scaled or ape scaled, while the front legs are more tiger scaled, so they're meant to be longer and whatnot. So unlike some toys where you're like, oh, the back legs are really short and it's kind of shitty to look at and it's really distracting, you know, you could use, if you wanted Tiger Hawk from Legacy, but his are more thin than short. But you know what I mean, that kind of same idea. I think that this one makes a bit more logical sense of why that makes sense and kind of works, at least to me. Also, baboons, don't fuck with... What are worse, baboons or chimps? I know chimps are monsters. I think baboons are pretty fucked up too, right? I think most, like, apes like ourselves are just nightmarish creatures. Nightmarishly violent creatures. I don't know if they intended to go for it, but the baboon head, because it's so big, it almost turns into like a lion mane. And I don't think that's what they were going for, but because that headpiece just keeps going back further and further and then kind of blends into the tiger part, it does remind me of like a big old lion mane on it, which is kind of interesting. Robot mode. I think he needed more of his tiger stripes to carry over into his robot mode, or he just needed more color to go over to his robot mode, because he's just orange for the most part. He's got his big old baboon shoulder, and his ass is on his forearm for one of his modes, which is always a shame. Reminds me a little of Break the Penguin from Neo. Not as egregious, but almost similar in some aspects. But he needed way more colors on the robot mode. On his chest especially, it looks like it's kind of half and half. Half of his chest is like furry boob, and the other half is clearly what's meant to be like robot metallic detail. So this could have had like silver paint job on it or something like that, just to bring it out. I will have a quick check. Does he have a thing? Heat sensitive energon sticker. Yeah. Beast head features a spring-loaded jaw gimmick. Gimmick causes fist to punch in robot mode. Oh, okay. So I don't know. I can't really tell how that would work exactly unless it just extends the arm further. But yeah. Gimmicks, it's a bit more intrusive. I'd say then quick strikes, which we talked about, the water pistol thing. Yeah. I didn't air hammer. Air hammer, whatever. What was air hammer's gimmick? Because air hammer must have had something, right? Surely, air hammer gimmick. Oh, here it goes. Beast head features a spring-loaded jaw gimmick. Spring-loaded jaw gimmick. Huh. Okay, well, I didn't see what that was, but fair enough. Okay. It seems like all the basics have some minor, small amount. But I like the head design. He looks fairly mean, intimidating teeth, which, again, would have been nice if they were painted. Doesn't look too bad. Fairly interesting. Maybe a bit of a bland silhouette for robot mode. I wonder if you can detach the ass from the arm. I have a feeling you might not be able to. But it seems fine. Not as good as Air Hammer, because I think Air Hammer has nicer colors in both modes. I think they're balanced better. And not as good as Quick Strike. I think, again, Quick Strike has better balance. He's just translucent plastic. Next up, we have Terragator, the Swamp Warrior. That's what you want to be known as, the Swampy Warrior. The cross between a turtle and alligator, which is pretty cool. Let's read the features. Beast mode, mouth snapping action. So I wonder if that just means that the mouth has just like a spring in it, so you open it up and it just kind of clicks closed. You know, it's effectively just an alligator, and then what if we just put a turtle shell on it? And it's like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, not the most interesting of fusion of animals, but yeah, that's okay. That's not the worst. I do have a bit more of an issue with his robot mode. Here in the image that we have on TFU, we have a naked Terragator, because he doesn't have his weapons. And whenever I see images, usually of Terragator, it is with his shell on one arm and his big leg tail section in his hand. Hands? Flippers? I don't know if he actually has hands. It doesn't look like he does. What's the white bit? Where are they going? Those, I think the whites on his hands are the back parts of the spikes of the turtle shell. Oddly enough, he does also have a gigantic crocodile alligator on his shoulder, like the head of one. This doesn't look quite right. This is probably the worst one so far, because without his weapons, he looks kind of shit, and it does make him incredibly part for me when his shield shell hides a lot of the stuff, and his gun and legs form up, well, his gun and legs, and clearly a good chunk of the tail, right? Yeah, it looks like it. Where's the other part of the tail? There's the tail there. There's the tail here. Is it hollow on the inside? Maybe it's just hollow. Oh, yeah, it totally is. The tail looks like it's completely hollow. And the guns just kind of flip out underneath that. So the entire back section is faked, and the turtle shell is faked. I imagine... why the front? Maybe the shell has a set of legs. No, they don't. I'm stupid. The gun has the back legs, and his robot legs are the front of his gator's legs, right? Yeah. I think the head sculpt, not too bad. A bit Rhinoxy with the green, the red eyes, and then the kind of beigey eyebrows, and then head to crest kind of thing. It looks a little bit too Rhinoxy on a bad day, or an orc. He has a bit of an orc look to him. I still wouldn't mind it, but yeah, I can see why this one doesn't sell super good. Yeah, you can see with the text back the kind of idea of what the shield and the weapon kind of do to the figure, and it does make him look a little bit better at least, but probably the worst one so far, I'd say. Another one I'd like to get, because I think this one looks kind of neat, Noctoro, which is a bull and a bat, and it comes out quite nicely. The feature is the Beast Wing features a spring-loaded flapping gimmick. So, yeah, a bit boring, you know, he can flap its wings. That's kind of dull. But I think the mix between bat and bull generally works okay. He does have a bit of, let's call it, ugly leg syndrome, where the legs for the beast mode are just, you just kind of bend them, and you put them around the ass, and you go, don't worry about it. What do you mean? It's not that important. It's not important. No. Yeah, don't worry about it. His ass seems to also have a pin going through it, so you can flip it. I assume this bluey thing in the middle of his back is probably the switch that allows the springs to flap his wings, which is okay. The big bull head as well kind of works okay. He has big hands for his wings. I wonder how intrusive the wing flap gimmick is in robot mode. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe you detach the actual arms from the wings to the point where it's not that terrible. He could again do with a lot more color in his robot mode. The head has like this kind of paint that fades from silvery, bluey kind of color up to a bronzy, goldy kind of color at the top. And it's carried through to like the arms, at least the top half of the hands. But you've got none on the thighs, or the groin, so or the sides of the chest as well. So you have his shoulders and biceps, the side of his boobs, whereas, Bullhead isn't, his groin, his waist, and then all of his legs are just one monotone color. So he could have had a bit more color just spread across him again, which would, I think, improve it just a little bit more. But I really like the head sculpt for the robot mode. That's really cool. It's actually kept the horns, so the horns aren't part of the bullhead that's gone into his chest. It's part of the robot head. I think that comes across way more interesting than other things. I think this might work a little bit better than, what was his name? Bighorn? No, that's the Japanese name for him. The buffalo from the last time we talked about these. I think that those work better. Also, the head having red and green eyes, primarily a red head with green eyes, again, helps make the head stand out from the rest of the figure. It's pretty decent. Looks okay-ish, but not amazing. Still wouldn't say no to it at some point in the future. Yeah, better than the Terrogator. Better than that. One I would like to get, because I think he looks fucking cool. We talked about it last time. Buzzclaw. He has a gimmick I remember. Spring-loaded forward beast claws. Spring-loaded forward beast claws detached to make the robot's weapon, which is this thing here. Oh, so you've got a plunger, it seems. So you push the thing into the device, and I guess it just kind of makes his, mantis arms. Oh, yeah, it totally does. It just makes his mantis arms open, so he goes in for a hug. Or she? She goes in for a hug? I would... Every time you do a Mantis character, I assume it has to be a girl, because you don't do a male Mantis character. Why? Because male Mantises are pussies if compared to the females, right? The men pork the ladies and the ladies eat them, and they're like 3 or 5 times bigger than them, right? So you'd want a female Mantis rather than a male Mantis, I would imagine. But there you go. I like the design of this. This, again, though, has the issue that... the Quick Strike has, and it's very translucent. There's a lot of translucent parts on it. All the orange seems to be translucent, as well as the wings, and then all of the green is opaque plastic, so that's good. The opaque plastic's nice. I'm not quite sure what's a mix between. I'm guessing a praying mantis and some kind of boog lizard thing. Oh, yeah, part mantis, part lizard, Buzzclaw has all the makings of a ferocious but sly warrior. In beast mode, Buzzclaw crushes his enemies with spinning pincers and venomous mandibles, while a powerful tail lashes out to land his surprise prey on the backside. As a flying robot, Buzzsaw generates lethal ion discs from his... It should be her, I would say. Her four-armed mounted stilettos, paralyzing her victims and rendering them helpless. Generally stoic and silent when it comes to business of battle, Buzzclaw is arrogant, resourceful, and intent on the job at hand. That sounds okay. That's not a bad little way to describe him. Robot mode. I again really kind of like the robot mode. It's not monotone either. The plastic color distributions breaks it up quite nicely. Oddly enough, I don't know whether this is just this image or this version of the toy, but there is a different color of green for the knees downwards, the knees to shins, and calf muscle. The rest of it is kind of a what swampy kind of apple green, let's say. Yeah, an apple green, while the lower legs are more of a inside green, inside of an apple green. When you cut into an apple and you open it up and you got the lovely the fruit bit inside where it's all sugary. That's kind of the color of the legs, the lower part of the legs. Pretty nice. I like the head mold. Nice mean teeth. He doesn't look like a nice person, or she doesn't look like a nice person. Has been recolored multiple times, unfortunately, all for BotCons. All for 2005. Oh, once for Universe as well. The Universe Repugnus was pretty sick. We have the BotCon Buzzclaw. which just has the same name. Dirge and Virulent Clone. Virulent Clone might be the best one because it's non-translucent. Blue, black, yellow, red. This looks really fucking cool. That one looks really good, actually. Not as good in robot mode. In Boog mode, it looks really good. Dirge. Dirge is translucent. Black, orange, and purple highlights and red. That also looks really good in Boog mode. And again, not as good in robot mode. And the final Buzzclaw one. Is Buzzclaw? Yeah, okay. Buzzclaw is black primarily, translucent purple and red. Again, looks really good in bug mode. Out of the three of the BotCon ones, the best in robot mode, I would say. And because it's purple, translucent plastic, and then like, I don't know, yellowy kind of color. You can see how nice the face sculpt is in the image. Pretty good. What about the Repugnus? Repugnus is interesting. Again, translucent plastic, but yellow, translucent red, and then kind of a blue highlight. Robot mode's okay. I don't think the bug mode's as nice. But I think this would be, like, if you had all of these together on one shelf, they'd look pretty good together. You know? I'd be like, okay. I might have to look to see how much the BotCon ones are. I'm assuming a lot because, you know, exclusive, etc., etc. But it's like, it's a nice little set. Don't know if they're good, good quality or whatnot, but yeah, I like them. They're kind of fun. And I'd like to get Buzzclaw just on its own with his lovely orange head. Want to suck on it and get the orange juice from it. Moving on to the Deluxes. We're starting off with Waspinator, one I did have as a kid. I remember getting him in America World in Orlando for a trip to Florida. Waspinator was an interesting one. So, his Wasp mode, I think, is pretty good. We've got Vac Metal. This is our first introduction of Vac Metal. Shall we talk about Vac Metal now? Vac Metal looks cool. Vac Metal has a really good gloss and shine to it. The problem is how Hasbro, I guess, did it, because as everybody knows, or as most people knows, the Vac plastic, or the Vac chrome now is flaking off and making really cool figures look really run down and old and kind of depressing and sad, which is, you know, that's not great. Waspinator is it antique gold? I think there's like a metallic chrome paint you can get, and I think antique gold would probably be the closest to it. He's changed his color scheme to that. Red and black, which is always a good color combo, and then his wings are what do you call that? Teal, something like that. So the bug mode, I think, looks cool. He's got instead of antennas, he's got guns on his bug head, which is fun. I do remember he has a bit of underkibble. His undersides look a little bit messy, and his bug legs were never very good at like holding him up in his bug mode. He'd kind of splat on the counter whenever you try to do it. But cool thing, his mandibles are posable as well, so that's pretty cool in itself. Now, his alt mode, his alt mode's interesting, as in his vehicle mode. It almost works. He transforms into a jet, and that's the idea. They want to turn the Wasp into jet mode. So how do you do it? We'll talk about the best bit first, which is how they do it with the wings. The wings have a hinge joint in them where you take the bottom half and you swing them around on this big hinge. The hinge is a little bit ugly, honestly, but, you know, it's fine. So it kind of gives a bit more of a plain look to the wings. It doesn't really work, but I think it's a neat idea, and I get the idea of what they were going for, and I can vibe with it, as the kids would say. I can vibe with it. That's the best bit. His back wings, because he has back wings for, you know, bugs. All you do with them is you kind of just turn them vertical to make the back wings of a plane, which doesn't really work as well, but you kind of squiz it and go, it's fine. Then you, from the underside of the bug head, you just open up his pincers and you flip forward the cockpit. You're like, what? It's like, yep. You just flip an entire cockpit forward out from underneath his mouth, though, so it looks like a giant wasp is vomiting up a plane. That's not the worst bit. It's a bit silly, but that's fine. The worst bit is the bug legs. What do you do with the bug legs, Andy? Well, you just squish them under the wings, and you go, yeah, it's done, innit? And you're like, what? It's like, yeah, just squish them under there. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Fuck it. It's good. So it does come off a bit awkward. Unfortunately, the bug legs are probably the worst part of this figure because it carries over to the robot mode, which is almost really cool. The robot mode is almost really fucking cool, right? He's got the cockpit, which hangs around his peen. It gives a nice look. It's almost Jehuti-esque from Zone of the Enders. I'm down with that. That's fine. He's got a really nicely designed head sculpt. Bright blue eyes, a gold mouth, and then the bug parts that he had originally, the bug parts, like the antenna and I guess side whiskers. I don't know. A metallic red. That looks really cool. The giant bug head on his chest. The problem again is the bug legs. What do you do with the bug legs? The back bug legs. You flip them forward, and they basically make the front of the shins. That's fine. That's okay. No problem. They just stretch up above his knee, and it's like, okay, it's fine. It's not as intrusive as say Inferno's was. It looks okay. The problem are the other two sets of legs. They are one set is just pegged into his thighs, and they just stick out. So what do you do with them in robot mode? You just nothing. You don't do anything. You point them backwards. And you're like, oh, okay. I can't remember exactly where the front ones are. I think they're pegged in just underneath the chest somewhere. But I get what the designers wanted you to kind of angle them up and backwards over his shoulders to give this kind of cool wing swept look back, a good framing for the chest, I think. Doesn't quite work. The legs, again, just kind of jut diagonally out forwards from the chest, go up at about not 90 degrees, just over 90 degrees, maybe like 100 degrees angle. And then the leg from the knee part of the bug leg, which is the ball joint, just kind of flop over his shoulders. So it doesn't really look that good. If you remove the thigh ball joint legs, bug legs, and you remove the ones around the chest, I think the robot mode would look way better. Way, way better. It would just have a nicer, cleaner look to it. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. He has a goon as well. The gun's kind of lame. It is the stinger, which is obviously flat. It doesn't look like a stinger. And it doesn't really look like a gun either. It kind of it didn't look good in either form. So it's a shame because he's almost pretty fucking cool to look at in robot mode. And his bug mode, I'd say, is generally pretty good. It's pretty fun, just messy underneath. But, Transformers now are still messy underneath, so that's fine. And the jet modes, that's a bit crap, let's be honest. But, you get the idea of what they were trying. He was almost really good, is what I'm trying to get at. Almost. XL Hedge says, shocked Wasminator wasn't even repainted into Starscream, given... That is a fucking good point. That is actually a really fucking good point, because, yeah, he is a jet. He has this mold had... Yeah, this mold has had... has the Japanese done anything? It got a Fox Kids repaint into quite a cool color scheme, to be honest. The color scheme for the Fox Kids one was... We changed him from red and black to wasp colors, which is primarily yellow. So he looks really cool. He still suffers from those fucking bug legs just being everywhere. But yeah, that's a very good color scheme for it. Very, very good. The Japanese version, is it any different? Japanese one looks about the same. I don't think it's any different. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's all right. But yeah, you're quite right, XL Hedge. Maybe could have done... BotCon could have easily done it for a BotCon set or like a side toy. Easily. Yeah, pretty decent. Oh, sorry, no, almost good. Next up, we have AirRaiser, who I haven't had. Defense mode. Apparently, she has a defense mode. Oh, she has an extra mode. Heat seeking energy on chip defense mode. Okay, what is defense mode? Oh, okay. That's stupid. So Air Razor is a mix between a bird and jet, I guess. I don't know. The bird mode, it's okay. You can quite easily see her robot modes underneath her tail fin. The bird head's quite nice. I do like the giant vacuum chromed, what do you call them, engines, like airplane engines on her wings. That's quite cool. And the color's not really air razory, but white and blue and yellow. Well, dirty mustard color. Yeah, and then the chrome sets it off nicely. The vehicle mode, I think what they're trying to go for is like what do you call them? The airplanes that land on water. They're not hydrofoils. What are they called? You know the ones I mean, where they've got the big floaties so it can land on the water. It looks like that's the kind of plane they're going for. The wings, are they different? Oh, I see. Right. So the wings have this like blue bit here. That blue bit turns into the floaty part for the vehicle mode where the it would land, on the water. So it does kind of nerf the wing size, and it does look like for some reason at least when they've done this photo here, they've just swept the wings forward for some reason. I'm not sure why. It would make it less aerodynamic, surely, but it's fine. Doesn't look like they do a huge amount though in this vehicle mode. I think Was Benitez technically does a little bit more. It doesn't seem obtrusive though. I don't know how well implemented it is. This is a problem when we talk about their vehicle modes. A lot of their vehicle modes, it's just going to be, yeah. It's just, what do you have to say about the money? Exelhead says, nice to see where Tiger Hawk got the big engines for the Gatling gun. That's a fair point, actually. Yeah, if you wanted to know whereabouts the engines are on this Air Razor figure, think of the legacy Tiger Hawk toy. They're effectively in the same positions. It's a good design place to put them, to be honest. Robot mode, she's got some big long arms. Her bird feet are on the back of her hands, and thus extend the look of the length of her arms to make it look like her shoulders her arms go from her shoulders, which are quite high up, to halfway over her shins, like below the knee, and halfway below her shins, or down her shins. A big wide backpack. A nice head design. An interesting color scheme with the kind of silver. And in robot mode, a way more of the gold has been shown. The bronzy kind of mustardy gold has been shown. I think that's cool. I can't say... I mean, if this was one of the ones that I saw in the store as a kid, I didn't get this one probably because I didn't think it looked very cool. And I still don't really think it looks super cool. I don't think it looks bad, considering the time, but, it's like, And what they tout as defensive mode, I guess, seems to mean you start transforming it into the bird mode, which I assume this is what mostly has happened here. So she's got the silver parts are now covering her chest, and then the wings are just off her back. Feels like fan mode. I don't know if it's a legit mode or not, but it's fine. Is this ever redone? It's a little different for the Japanese. It seems like it's a bit darker colors. And Fox Kids version, it switches out the silver for blue metallic. Man, it's just even more orange. It's not that different from... It looks like a less painted version of the original version. Oh, there's the Armada one. The Armada Air Razor, which I'd call Filch in this day and age, because it's kind of a black crow. They've switched out the inner robot stuff with red and blue, and that looks okay. Not amazing. I think that looks... I'll say it. I think the Fox Kids version looks better than the standard version. I think that's fair. I think it's a bit more of a cooler color scheme. The Air Razor ones, I just can't put my finger on it. It just doesn't gel with me. The Armada one looks a bit cooler because it's in like crow colors. And crows are cool birds. They're not nice birds, but they are pretty cool. Like ravens. Again, not nice birds, but cool birds. Smart birds, too. Next up, we have Cheetor. I don't know why Cheetor has a really weird face. It either looks like Cheetor for his face, for his robot mode, either has, like, if you open your mouth, like, I think they're meant to be teeth, and I think he's meant to be gritting his teeth. But because there's no, like, separation in the teeth, it just kind of mushes together. It looks like they're just lines going up and down his mouth. Which looks a bit strange, to be honest. But, hey, you know what you're expecting with Cheetor. His cat mode, I think, is good. His cat mode looks pretty solid. He's not got the most amazing transformation ever. But it turns into a pretty nice robot mode, to be honest. It hides a lot of the vacuum chrome and gives him a lot more color in his robot mode. It gives him way more yellow. It shows more of this kind of, what's this, like, greeny, bluey, tealy kind of color. That's way more of that's revealed. And his cheetah spots are shown as well. So it's like, that's pretty good. Pretty good. He's got weird hands, though. He doesn't really have, like, hands, and I'm pretty sure in the CG animation they gave him these. He's got more like a claw, like a little pincer claw, like a flesh pincer claw, which looks a little strange. His flight mode is one of the better vehicle modes because it's very, very basic. He just, if you did not know, in his, you get him in his cheetah mode, and then from his gut you unfold out some wings and some jits on his back, on the ends of the wings. That works pretty well. It's not a weird kind of mess like Wasminator's. It's very simple, very easy, and doesn't impede the robot mode either. It feels like this was well thought out when they designed it and they put it together, unlike some of the other Transmetals where it's just, I don't know, fucking stick some wheels on it or something. This is just, stick some wings in his tumbly wumbly, and then they flip out and it's like, oh, that works. Simple but effective, but in a good way. His weapon's a bit, it's a bit boring. It's just unplug his tail and he's got a whip with a hook on the end, or a whip just in general. It's like, it's not very good. He did get a cool redo for the Fox Kids version where he's been primarily changed to red, gold, and black. And in robot mode, they switched out the yellow for more of a silver reveal. So it all kind of pans out to look pretty nice. I would have actually said that you could have had this as a Decepticon version. It would have worked quite nicely. Again, this is a decent Fox Kids one. The iRays one clearly wasn't. You also got remolded into the... I don't have the Cheetor Transmetal mold. I have the Transmetal Ravage mold, or the Beast Wars Metals Ravage figure, which is a very slight retool of that figure. They didn't do a huge amount. They changed the arms completely, and they made it so instead of split... Yeah, because originally you would split his cheetah head, and they'd become his arms. So they had to add extra arms, and they changed his chest panel as well, and they changed the cheetah head so it would kind of just fold in on itself and become Ravage's head. This is a pretty fun figure. Because of the remolding, it does suffer. In cheetah mode, you can see the arms just kind of hang underneath the figure, because there's nowhere to store them because they were meant to be the head. It's a bit of a downgrade in that fashion, but his chest does open up, and it has a place where you can put 3 or 4 stickers. I never stickered mine, primarily because if you sticker it, you're done. You can't re-sticker it, and it's permanent. But I did like that. He's also got springs in his hands, which are open. They look a bit weird, but if you flip them forward, he's got his 2 pistols in each of his hands. They look really bad when they're not attached. I can't remember where they attach in robot mode. In Panther mode. I think they peg on the inside of his legs. Oh, no, that's what you can do. What you can do is, if you don't want the guns in his hands, they've got these big, obnoxious, I don't even know how to describe it, 2 thin slots. And you can use these 2 thin slots to shove them into the sides of the legs. It's that's pretty cool. That's all right. But the whole spring-loaded, the guns flip forward into his hands. That's really nice. It's a cool feature. Hey, it's Orange. Welcome, Orange. Yo's Transmetals. Yeah, man. It's the Transmetal time at the moment. So that's really good. That's a really good version of the figure. They also... Botcon did him into Tigatron, which is a bit ass, to be honest. It's just the Ravage figure, but what if white? It's like, here's an image of what the boob sticker looks like. That was one of them, the Spark. I can't remember what the other sticker choices were, but yeah. That's very cool. And Armada Cheetah. Armada Cheetah, ooh. Ooh, I want to like him. I don't, though. No Vacuum Chrome. He is a purpley blue, a bluey gray blue, and then kind of a really dark blue. And then he opens up into red, but the red's not covering his chest. The chest, like his shoulders and bicep are like bright red, and his face is bright red, and he's got two little bits on his thighs which are bright red. But his chest is just the dark blue plastic with a slow fade of red. That should have probably been bright red as well, right? Bright red with like some details on it or something like that. I think this chest throws off this robot mode completely. Maybe the arms should have been bright red as well. No, the arms could be this weird light grayish blue color. That's fine. I think it is just the chest. The chest needed to be red, and it would help bring the arms in and the head in together and make it kind of form a little bit nicer. I think because the cheetah mode, that looks pretty good. That looks okay. That works. The head. If we're talking about colors, he looks like the repaint of Pterosaur. You know, that kind of purple and that kind of red kind of mushed together. So it's like, yeah, I think, which is the best version? I think I was going to say the best version is the Fox Kids. I think that the standard Cheetor is really good, right? If you want an extra bit of flavor, I think the Fox Kids one could be a lot of fun. A real good contender, but with some issues with it because of like the remolding and how it had to work, is the Ravage. Ravage is very good, and the Armada one. The Armada one you get, I would guess, or at least it used to be, because no one would want these ones. No one wanted the Armada version of the Beast Wars figures because they were all figures. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, we don't want these. So these used to be really cheap. I don't know if that's the case now. We know that's not the case for the Transmel Megatron. We know that one's more expensive. I don't know about the rest of these ones, though. But, Cheetah's not bad. Orange says, damn, I didn't even know about the Spark thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me to this, because it's been a while since I've looked at, like I say, the stickers for mine, because I kept them in the box. I think one of them is G1 Megatron. Like, it's meant to be like a screen, and it's meant to be playing, I guess, a memory of Megatron, I think. So he's got the Spark and that. I think the Spark is the default sticker. I'm not sure. Armada Cheetah is, it exists. It's really annoying, because the Armada one, the Cheetah mode, I think is good. I think this looks nice. It's the robot mode where it's just almost there, and then it kind of shits its pants in terms of its color. XL Head says, Herald, I think it's meant to be Herald of Unicron Cheetah. Yeah, pretty much. Evil Cheetah Law. Standard Cheetah's good, though. He's not a bad boy. Next up, we have a Fuzor. We're going back to the deluxe Infusers this time. It's Injector. I'm thinking, the worst of the deluxe. The worst of the deluxe Infusors. A very interesting design. He is a mix between a Hornet, which is a fucking nightmarish bug, and a lionfish. Pretty neat idea. Makes for a pretty interesting beast mode, mutant beast mode, with this giant lionfish head, and then with the hornet body. The legs do not really do anything, and they just hang underneath the figure again. Bit of a shame, but generally an interesting look. The problem comes when the robot mode happens. Again, I think it's almost pretty cool. Like, it's an interesting look. It doesn't make for a fun transformer, because it doesn't do much transforming. The robot, in quotations, the robot head just lives inside the mouth of the lion head, the lionfish head. So you just kind of open the mouth up, and then the robot head kind of just pops up from there. And I like the head design. The robot head design's interesting. Like it looks freaky and monstrous and evil. It's just, you know, you just flip that down. That's done. You take the gun off, which is the butt of the Hornet, and then the arms are the underside of that butt. And you just kind of unfold them and just fold out the legs. It's done. It's very, very quick. It's not a very satisfying transform, and because his head's so fucking big, because it's an entire fish, like it's this whole fucking fish, it doesn't make him the most stable. You know, you are relying on those ball joints in his hips to hold up a decent amount of weight. I don't think he's bad. I just think in terms of how he looks, he's not bad. In terms of how he transforms compared to the other Fuzors of deluxe scale, I think he's kind of lame, to be honest. Technically I have the Japanese version, and I don't think there's a huge difference. There are big differences between the other two Japanese ones, but the Japanese ones, I don't know this pronunciation. I don't know how you separate this, because RA, that's one kanji or something, I would imagine. And then RT, I don't know what RTO is, like to, I get that. So it's just random R there. Ra-ro-to-ra-ro-ta. Ra-ro-ta-ro-ro-ta-ro. Ro-ra-to-ro-ro-to-ro-ra-ra-ta-ra. I don't know. Something like that. But I don't think there's any differences in terms of the colors. But again, I could be wrong. Yeah, an interesting design. I don't think we ever need to revisit this design, Hasbro, unless we find a way of just fix it. I think you'd need to change the design to make it work. I think that's the only way you could get it to do it. Oh, its gimmick is it has a firing missile. It unsurprisingly didn't have anything else done to it. So what are you going to do? Orange says, very underrated figure. He was notorious shelf warmer back in the day. I think I see why. I think it's the robot mode. I think people look at the robot mode and think it's not great. And compared to the rest of the figures that were kind of flopping around at the time, compared to them, he's probably one of the weaker deluxes. Especially in terms of just like looking at it on a shelf. You look at it compared to everything else, it doesn't look cool. I think it doesn't have that cool factor. It's got the weird factor, but it doesn't look solid. We have Rat Trap next. Classic boy, Rat Trap. He has a very unintrusive vehicle mode as well. You flip up his little mouse paws. You flip out some engine bits, and I guess you straighten the tail, but there's no real reason for it. Oh, you put his little back rat legs as well inside his wheels, and that's it done. Very unobtrusive, fine. It works perfectly fine. Doesn't look too bad either. The rat mode itself, very simple, quite fun. Does what I guess it does what it's there to do. Looks like a rat. The trans art one, not too bad either, to be honest. Robot mode, my only issue with the robot mode is it didn't transform like it did in the show. My biggest issue with this little bastard was in the show, he always had his backpack rotate, so the big wheels were behind his shoulders, and this fucking toy doesn't do that. It doesn't do it, and I remember as a kid being furious with this. I was like, why doesn't it do it? It does it in the show. It looks way better doing that. Otherwise, he's got a very frowny face, which is kind of sad. Not the most interesting transformation. A lot of it, he feels kind of shell formery. Not as bad as his basic version from the first wave of figures, but compared to other Transmetals, a bit on the shell formery side. And like I say, that backpack just annoys me. It just frustrates me. He's got no gun this time. He just has a tail whip, which does, nicely enough, have quite a lot of joints to it, so you can pose in quite a few ways. But it doesn't look like his show sword, which turns into more like a fencing poker, effectively. So it's like, yeah, it's okay, not great. This has had a decent few repaints. It's the difference between the Japanese one and this one, not massive. It looks like they've used a bit of a lighter plastic color for instead of the dirtier gray, I guess. For here, the Japanese one is a bit brighter, bit whiter, I think, looking at it. Oops. Yeah, I think it's a bit brighter and whiter. Otherwise, the Fox Kids version, Fox Kids versions, again, almost good. The inside robot mode, kind of plastic, I think they should have gone for a harder color. It's kind of a really light, browny, bronzy-ish color, I guess. But it's very, very light. It's not as intense as it could be. But we switched out his kind of red rat form for kind of a blue rat form, and that's kind of, it works okay. Not the best Fox Kids one, but it's like it's good enough, I'd say. XL Head says, I wonder how many kids broke off Rat Trap's backpack trying to match the show. I didn't do that, thankfully, but yeah, I wonder. But there's the Metals special version. Does it say what this was from? This thing was available in Japan in 1999, but it doesn't say how or why it was special. Never mind. So this he came with a jigsaw. Oh, there we go. So special Rat Trap from Japan came with a jigsaw. Yeah, okay. This one's quite nice and different. He's white and orange chrome, which looks quite good. And they've mistransformed him so the shoulder pad heads are pointing upwards to give him a bit more of a different look. I think this one looks quite nice, to be honest. Very nice and bright and very distinct from the other Rat Traps. Oh, sorry, there was the Walmart one was the blue one. The Fox Kids one is primarily red Rat Trap rat. And again, the robot mode on the inside is a little bit disappointing. That's the problem with a lot of the Rat Traps. The colors are very muted for the most part for the robot mode. The back animal metal mode always has kind of a nice vibrant color, kind of bouncing well off each other, and then the inner robot just is kind of going, didn't really do anything with it. That's fine for the show, it works for the show. That's why I don't begrudge the original one or the Japanese one for the most part, but I do begrudge the two repaints because they could have done something more interesting, like the Japanese Metals version. They did do something more interesting. White and orange really play off each other nicely. This gray kind of flat plastic looks too similar to the original versions of Rat Trap, and this very light browny, bronzish kind of color again. It just doesn't pop quite as nicely. And in terms of transformation, like I say, it's just kind of it's fine. It's okay. I've not had Rhinox before, but Rhinox got hit by the fucking ugly stick. It looked like Rhinox's face design looks like, what's the best way to describe him? He looks like the bull demon. Not the bull demon. What the weird dog demon dude from Berserk? When in the manga, when Guts goes to see Goto after the Black Swordsman arc, he goes and you have the Golden arc and you have the effectively the anime series. At the end of that, he then goes to Goto the blacksmith again, and they're attacked by a big dog demon. That's the kind of face he has. He's got the dog demon face, the dog apostle demon face when he's in normal human mode. Looks kind of fat. Looks like he's got lots of bag and wrinkles under his eye. Doesn't really look what I would say is a cool look for Rhinox. Rhinox looked cooler before. However, his Rhino mode, Transmetal Rhino mode, looks pretty decent. Looks like a big armored Zoid, to be honest. It's got kind of that vibe to it. The vehicle mode, again, not very obtrusive. He just kind of lays down his back legs and then flips some skis front forwards, so it's like a treaded tank. It's okay. And then the rest of the main robot is just looks like he's fat. He opens up his kind of gray, metallic-y looking animal mode to a brown, really dark brown to black, and then kind of cream-colored innards. So it doesn't look super good. And his weapon is his horn, kind of a... I guess it's meant to be held like a backwards blade. Like, when you hold a knife and you hold the knife upside down, so the knife's coming out the bottom of your hand, effectively. Kind of looks like that's what they're going for the design of the weapon. He's had a few repaints. We've had the Metals version, which is the Japanese version, which I guess is the same. We've had the Fox Kids version. Is that right? Yeah, Fox Kids version, which is what if the Rhino was blue and greeny chrome? It's a little ugly, but it's okay. And the robot form, what if that coloring was gray, which is boring, and red, which is not very good. This is another kind of flop, I would say, in terms of like what you could have done. At least for the inner robot, I think the blue rhino works pretty well. You know, blue rhinos doesn't stretch my imagination too far. The inner robot, though, again, just feels half-assed. I don't know what you should use to contrast the blue, but not metallic gray. Not that. The other version, it's again a little bit too similar in robot mode. The robot mode is the downfall of this goddamn figure in terms of the paint color schemes, because the rhino mode again looks pretty good. The rhino mode, it's the metallic-y silver, and then we've gone with a, what do you call this, crimson metalish color, crimson metal kind of thing, and then he's got yellow splodges on the backs of his legs for some reason. That looks quite good. And then the robot mode, and but you've just added black, and then this weird yellowy flesh color again from the original version of the figure. Like it's more yellow. It's less peach colored, more yellow colored. It doesn't seem like there's a really good version, like super good in terms of colors version of this figure. I don't know if Rhinox is really good. Actually, he's a really fun figure, but he doesn't look cool. Again, he's not got that wowie wah factor. And we go, damn, that looks good. Just kind of, I don't know. Now we got the goodest boy, Silverbolt, who I don't have, and who's like £50 if you want to get him complete these days. So, I'm not sure how likely that's going to happen. Some people say better than the Legends version. He is not completely accurate, compared to his TV counterpart. He does have the black on his nose, but it's not nearly as aggressively black as they made it on the Legacy version for some fucking reason. I don't know why they did it. He is the cross between, for those that don't know, Hawk, Griffin, Burb Thing, and Goodest Boy Doggo. And the robot mode is pretty accurate to the show model. The only problem is you can't flip down the wings. So the wings are always at a horizontal angle. You can, hang on, spring-loaded missile launches with wings. Wings contain a flapping gimmick when you pull the tail, which can also be used to fire the missile. So see, I'm guessing it's his gimmick that kind of screwed him over a little bit, unfortunately. But I think he looks correct in a lot of ways, and I think I think I remember hearing the way that his like entire chest kind of forms for his robot mode is a bit more elegant than how the Legacy version reinvented it for no particularly good reason. That's why here, whether that's true or not, for those that own both, you'll know better than I will. But he's okay. I know he's got a couple of redos. He got the Metals version, which is, oh wow, the Metals version, the Japanese version, is way more accurate, I suppose, to the Legacy version, because the black has just been spooged all over his poor dog face again. He's done it in a much lighter, brighter gray color, which I think I prefer the standard version, to be honest, because it looks more silvery, like chromy silver, versus the Japanese version, which to me comes across as a bit more light gray. I don't know. Doesn't work as well. Then there's the convention exclusive where they've just made him white, and because he's already kind of a lightish gray color, I don't think this works desperately well. A little bit too white for my tastes, at least. Then there's the cool universe version, which I really like because it's hideous. It's purple, purple and like lime green colors, and then red on his back. They've added a load of extra just fucking colors everywhere on it. And the robot mode as well kind of continues it. I think it's really cool. The Autobot symbol on his center circle, on his Tumbly Wumbly, he's got that little red circle. For the universe version, they slapped in an Autobot insignia, which I don't think looks great. That could have gone on like the inside of the arms. I don't know, on like a knee, on a nice flat surface. It seems a bit out of place here. That's his coolest color scheme. I haven't actually looked for the universe version. I'm guessing the universe version is difficult as fuck to get. Who did he come with? Who was he sold with it? Or was he on his own? For universe? I thought they were usually 2-packs, weren't they? Does it say who he came with? Chad, do you remember who Silverbolt came with? If he came with anyone? No figure. Yeah, I don't see specifically if he came on his own or with someone. I'm guessing he just came on his own, right? Orange says, I love Transmetal Rhinox personally. He needs a leader class modern figure. What did you like about the Transmetal 2 Rhinox? So what was it that you thought was good about him out of interest, though? But yeah, that's Silverbolt. Yeah. Now, this is one I had as a kid. It's the Fuzor Sky Shadow. I've got the other version of him as well. Now, Sky Shadow is a mix between a... Let's get the proper description, because I know one of it. He is a mix between... Does it say? I know it's a lizard, and it's some sort of boog. It doesn't say. Yeah, I don't see it say specifically, but he's a mix between a lizard, a gecko maybe, and some sort of bugs. And his animal mode is pretty good, apart from one quite egregious feature, which is his head is just sticking out of the back of his tail, and it's very, very noticeable. It's aggressively noticeable, which is his biggest downfall, unfortunately. The vehicle mode, the animal mode is very solid though. Everything goes together, looks quite nice. The back wings, there's this lever on the back where you can make them go in and out. It doesn't really look like they're flapping because it's more of a pinching motion. But it does open up. His mouth as well for the lizard head opens as well. Orange says, I love his articulation in beast mode, and in spite of his bulk, I love the hefty dude. That at least implies that they're bigger. Plus he turns into a rhino tank. That's fair. And the Transmetals are pretty neat. Exel Hedge says, Silverbolt's colors are his Beast Machine's show, in quotations, colors, after he got himself reverted back to a few. So yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, good call. Yep. I don't think he had that green on him, though, did he? No, he didn't have that green on him. He had yellow instead of green. But you're probably right for the most part. Yeah, but Sky Shadow, his iguana mode looks solid enough, apart from the head on the bum, like I said. The robot mode, I think, is very good. He has a giant iguana head for a hand. There is also a little hand in there as well, like a 3-fingered like claw on the inside of the head, which you can flip back. And then his other hand is the big pincer wings. I think he cuts a quite imposing looking figure. The problem, because of his head, they gave him a missile shooting mouth gimmick, like they did with a couple of them. So he can have a missile stick just sticking out the back of his head. I don't mind him having that. It makes his head look really intimidating. And the art for him, if you look at the box art, it looks really good. The gecko head or lizard head looks way more like a dragon head, but then it does like a lizard head. And his robot head kind of looks a little bit like oh fuck, what was he called? Piss from Spawn. The guy that the clown turns into. Oh, Piss, that demon. You know, with the giant claws coming out the sides of his mouth and the big claw coming out of his head. It's like the Eviscerator or something really over the top and Todd McFarlane-y. The Fornicator, I don't know. It's kind of got that head vibe, at least in the artwork. I've also got Drancron, which is the Japanese version. The colors are a bit more muted. They're not quite as vibrant. There's a bit more color. The lizard parts are all red and the bug parts are all green. And on his kind of orange wings, they've actually painted more of the detail. So it's got kind of like a red highlight, which looks quite nice. They've even painted the little tongue purple as well. I do like this one quite a bit. The articulation is what you would expect, ball joints all over the place, so you can pose. Not too back heavy. Transformation's pretty fun, if I remember. Yeah, that's right, because you see the bug arm here. You flip this up and you flip it off to the side, one of the sides here. It's got because of how the arms have to rearrange themselves to go into the shoulders. You've got this cool little gimmick that works inside the chest where you kind of just move them around in the right order. Excel Hedge says, the Spawn Demon Luigi Mario. No. Spawn, the Todd McFarlane comic, not I don't any of that weird stuff. Sky Shadow didn't get any other recolors apart from Drancron. That was the only other one. I like it. I think it's a fun one, pretty decent. Tarantulas, one of the best ones, I would say, not without its problems, but one of the best ones. He has a bike mode, which is just what if the bug has two wheels coming out from his ass and mouth. It's like, it's fine. Not too obtrusive. Spider mode, very cool. Love the spider mode. Quite clean as well. There's not a lot of gubbins hanging beneath the spider mode as well. And the transformation, a little bit on the easy side. His hands, I wish could turn. He's just got his hands, palms face upwards to the sun all the time, which is a bit lame. And I wish the shoulders had a bit more of a bit of peg, and the spider legs, I wish they could fold a little bit better to look a little bit more like the show. But for the most part, Tarantulas is good. He's a good looking one. Again, you could argue that the head doesn't look right either, and I would agree with that. I'm glad I have the trans art one, even though it's not perfect. And it's a little bit explodey in how it transforms, especially compared to the kind of simplicity of the original one. This one's okay. This one's pretty good, I'd say, Tarantulas. And then he got the Beast Wars version. Oh! Can you see what they tried to do with the Japanese one? The Japanese one painted the gap between his eyes to try and give you that false idea that it's one continuous piece, because they didn't remold the head. It was a good attempt, Japan, but it doesn't quite work, even at a distance. It doesn't quite look right. Tarantulas' best version, though, is the Fox Kids version, which is really fucking cool, as they changed him to be a primarily black and metallic-y gray spider when he's working for Unicron again or something. I think they only had like 2 issues or something. This looks really good. I would have liked maybe a bit more of the lime greeny kind of color to pop in his robot mode, like on the inside of his forearms or something, or maybe the line on the front of his shins, like in the... Is it in this one? Yeah. On the original one, he has the... What do you call it? He has like the purple, maroony kind of like calf muscles, and then a black line going up the center of them. I kind of wish for this Fox Kids version, it was just this green line going up the center. That would have been quite nice. Orange says, I love Transmetal Tarantulas, and he's huge in the show. He is. He's a big part of it. Well, he's not actually in the show a huge amount as Transmetal 2 Tarantulas, to be fair. He does kind of go and vanish for a huge portion of the show, but he's there for big moments. I would agree with that. But yeah, Tarantulas, it doesn't look quite right again because of the head sculpt, but for the most part, it's like this one's a fun one. I like it. It's good. Torka, a Fuzor, whale and elephant. Pretty interesting and creepy, freaky looking beast mode. Got some good chunk and heft to it. Unfortunately, those that don't know, gold plastic syndrome. I have this mold. I don't have this version of the figure, but I can tell you the mold's actually pretty fun. It's actually pretty decent. One of the lame things is his kind of whale fin comes off the back and is a water pistol gun, and they're always kind of like, bleh. His robot mode reveals way more of this translucent plastic, you idiot. Gold plastic, syndrome-y plastic. I wouldn't say it even works that well against the color scheme. The gold chromey kind of chrome, the gold plastic gold doesn't work super well off the kind of ocean deep blue color of the whale mode. It doesn't quite work, but I like the head design quite a lot. I like the horns coming out the side. The horns, if I remember, pinch as well. They got little pinches on them. And he's got decent articulation, and the transformation wasn't too bad, but he just, if you squeeze him, he will turn to dust. Just like if he had Cosmic Rust. That's the thing. Talker was huge in the comics. Which comics, Orange? What? Which comics are you talking about? I don't remember which comics you were talking about where he was huge. Or do you mean like he was huge as in his size was huge? Because I don't think his presence was very big in terms of what he contributed. Like Commander class in toy terminology. Okay, you mean in terms of size. Okay, that makes more sense. Exelhead says Titan class Torka when. They wouldn't do it. He's a Beast Wars figure that no one knows. I had the Blentron version of him, which keeps the same blue for the whale part, and then a little bit boring, I'd be honest. They just changed the gold plastic into kind of a baby blue. It's not as visually striking, but it doesn't turn to dust in your hands, so it's better. Unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. This is the one I have. Looks pretty nice. Works quite nicely with the other ones as well. Again, this is a fun figure. Just, as long as you don't get the American one, because it'll just die in your hands, which is a bit of a bummer. It's a shame though, because it is a good toy. It's fun, got good chunk to it. The transfer. Oh, okay. Here's a bad thing. The transformation. There's not a lot to it. You can see that his kind of whale elephant tummy are on hinges, and they just kind of fold around a lot of the detail, and his arms just kind of turn around and become the legs, and his back legs just kind of fold down and become the back legs. He does very, very little transforming. The most transforming he does is you flip the whale bottom jaw up or down, depending on which way you're transforming him, and then you get the two halves of the whale head and split them, or you push them together, again, depending on which way you want them to go. So he doesn't actually do that much transforming. Oops, I didn't mean to punch you, Mr. Microphone. That's another bad thing about the figure. He just doesn't do a huge amount of transforming. There's just not a lot to him, which I would say is obviously a bit of a shame. Next up, we have Pterosaur, another one that I had. One that I didn't really appreciate as a kid. Now I kind of like. But I am missing one of his wings, and his wings are very important because they are his weapons. So, first up, his pterosaur mode, pterodactyl mode. It's okay. It's all right. It does, like, his wings don't look super good, as his actual wings are quite small. It just looks like he has really big, thick, meaty arms. The pterodactyl head is quite nice, and the pterodactyl legs clearly don't do a huge amount. He turns into a plane mode, and just kind of like... This is worse than the Wasbinator jet mode, I'd say. The only things that you do are he has back wings, which you kind of fold forward to touch his bird wings, to try and pretend that they are bigger. You flip open the purple bits to show turbines, which I don't think look very good when you flip them forward, because there's just these two big bits of purple plastic just lying over the front of the plane mode. And then you open up his ass, very much like Inferno's, to reveal engines. And then you just kind of lie the feet down and make sure that you can see he's got boosters on the underside of his feet. So it's very kind of lame. It's not very good. His robot mode's pretty okay, though. He's got some big old chunky arms and a fairly impressive looking figure. Doesn't have the same color scheme at all as the original figure, as he switched out red for purple. Very angry boy face, though. Okay articulation. His weapons are his wings, which don't really look like anything when he's holding them. I can't say I love it. I can't say that it's a great figure, especially the vehicle mode. The vehicle mode's diabolical. I like, if I was gonna give it a mark out of 10, I'd say it's probably like a 4 out of 10, and the robot's probably like a 6 out of 10. Beast mode 4, robot 6 out of 10 kind of thing. So like 5 overall out of 10 if we wanted to give it a number. The Japanese version adds a little bit more paint on the inside of his face, so it gives him a bit more silver to break up the just red plop. I think the purple is the same. I don't think there's anything else different there. We have a Beast Machines version, which I didn't even know they did this, where he's turned to white so he looks a bit more like Swoop. Is he called Swoop? No, he's Tyrannotron, obviously. I don't know. It's very much a Dinobot Swoop kind of coloring, like not accurate Dinobot Swoop, I mean, but actually like the Armada version quite a bit. He looks a bit more like Sauron. Like they've given him a green and orange color scheme. I think that works better here, especially for his robot mode. He gets a lot more orange in his robot mode. I did always enjoy how the robot head kind of folded up into the chest and you just were left with the beak. I thought that was quite cool. But yeah, this figure's kind of flawed, but yeah. What's he called in Japan? In Armada? Pterosaur. He's just Armada Pterosaur. Armada Pterosaur, not the best version of him, I wouldn't say, but kind of an interesting, funky kind of flavor. If you like G2, that's the kind of color scheme we're kind of going for with this one. It's if you like that kind of idea, you'll like that version of the mold the best, I think. Potentially. Now we're moving on to the Megas. We have Scavenger, who was at some point meant to be Inferno, but then went no for some reason, because he is a big robotic ant. Kind of mean and intimidating, does not look like a friendly boy. He turns into a drill tank thing. It's about as convincing as some of the deluxes, unfortunately. You just kind of stick his drills forward and you pull his head back. What do you do with the legs, Andy? You just put them in the air like you just don't care. It's potentially worse than Waspinator's, because at least with Waspinator, you kind of hid them underneath the wings. With Scavenger, they just go up in the air. Who fucking cares? Yeah, fuck them. Who gives a shit? But the robot mode looks very cool. I love the head design. You can see again why it's Inferno. He has horns. We talked about horns earlier with Nocturo. I think I said Nocturo had the cool horns as well. This has cool horns. He has big, thick boy arms with drills in the front of them. I didn't mention it before, but his gimmick is he has rubber wheeled things in the front of his forearms, so when you roll him across the ground, the drills in the front spin. It doesn't work too well. It doesn't look too good, and I think it does hamper the figure a little bit in terms of the size. And again, the bug legs are just everywhere. They're just everywhere. They're all over the shop. Orange says, "Damn, I love these Transmentals. They're fun. They're very unique, interesting designs. Some of them are a bit messy, though. Some of them are definitely a bit messy." Excel Hedge says, "Twin Twist wannabe." In terms of the arm designs, yes, very much. You can even see that the insect head is just kind of split in half and then just kind of pushed onto the back of where the elbows would be. It's just kind of their back there. I think the design looks fairly interesting and decent. It doesn't make for a great figure, though. But he certainly looks interesting. That's what I'll give him. His bug mode's probably his best mode. It looks the best. It's very long, I guess you could say. And the robot mode's like almost there with an interesting thing. So I'd give if I was to give I'd give a 7. Like I'd say the bug mode is good. The robot mode's more of a 5, like it's averagey for this kind of era, and then the vehicle mode's just like a 3. It's terrible. It's really bad. It's not great at all. Oh shit! I didn't see the piss. I didn't see if he had any redos. I don't think he had any redos. Fuck, what was he called? Scavenger. Did he have any redos? I don't think he did. Oh, apparently there was a name printing variant. Early versions of this figure featured the name printed on the upper right thigh, while later versions had the name printed on the shell. I think I have the later version. I think I prefer it on the shell, to be honest. Yep, the only other version was the metals version, and I don't think they did anything different. Don't think they did. Next up for the Megas range, we have Transmetal 1 Megatron, Skate Dancing Dinosaur. Very fun transformation. Very prone to gold plastic syndrome. which is a damn shame because this is a really fun toy. The chest is faked, obviously, for obvious reasons. Not a complex transformation for the most part, but very quick, very simple, very easy. I'll tell you the worst thing about the dinosaur mode. The teeth. He looks like he has had his teeth pulled. He looks like an old grandpa dinosaur that has false teeth in. You know how you get the Nessie dinosaurs, you know? Those kind of dinosaurs where the teeth are just like little nubs, and you think T-Rex having little nub teeth, you're like, oh, whoa, what the fuck? Like, I'm not saying the teeth on the original Megatron from Beast Wars were like really big and sharp, and you'd cut yourself on them, but they looked more like teeth in here. They're really baby goo goo gaga baby teeth. Your teeth, chat, look sharper than this Megatron's teeth. This Megatron's dinosaur teeth are very embarrassing. I feel bad for him. I feel bad. For those that don't know, his transport mode is he flips from the back of his the back of his calf muscles to roller skates on the Trans Arts one, the third party one. KO, whatever you want to call it. They are actually separate wheels. Obviously, on the original version, they're not separate wheels. You had to pretend. A little bit of a shame. I understand parts budgeting and all that stuff, but it would have been nice if those parts were wheels. And then for those, again, that don't know, he has side vents on the back of his legs as well. Kind of silly. Orange says, need a leader class of him. He was my favorite by far. I'd say there's next to nothing you need to change about his transformation as well, to be fair, Orange. There's next to nothing. The Trans Art one didn't really change that much. There was a few bits that were a little bit flummoxy, that were like panels folding and stuff like that underneath the bottom of the jaw here to try and hide the arms. Because I guess if you want to say an issue with it is the robot arms are very visible. They are just kind of like tucked under his chest. If you just like bend your arms and just press them up against your chest, that's kind of what he's doing. That would be like his only kind of sad thing about the dinosaur mode. But the robot mode looks great. Still looks great. The only problem is it can't explode on you. I don't know which part it is that usually explodes for people. But there's quite a lot of like pinned joints which could be gold plasticky. The Japanese version is a little different. This is the one I have. I think this one's known to not explode as much, if at all. The plastic is not like I would describe the color for mostly Megatron, obviously vacuum chromed purple, and then toffee colored brown-ish. Yeah, toffee. And the Japanese version's more of it's got more of a red hue to it. Kind of crimsony red, toffee flavored, I'd say. Sort of. Orange says the brown plastic in his belly/robot arms is what breaks. Oh, and his waist. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, thank you, Orange. I don't think the Japanese one is known to break. I think that's why I bought it. But again, I could be wrong. I'm sure I'll find out in the future when I try and transform him and he explodes. I hope he never does, though. Ha ha ha. I'd say I think the original toy, the American one, is more accurate. But the Japanese one probably doesn't die. So I do think the Armada one is pretty cool as well. They did a job on him. In his dinosaur mode, he is a kind of gunmetal, then green. What's that? Kind of a Dark Angels green, and then for some reason a very, 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 very palely white green as well for his dinosaur head. But no exploding plastic on him. That's a good thing. Then when you're transforming, brown has appeared on him for some reason. And then an orange face. Very interesting. A neat look. He also comes with 2 mini-cons, but who gives a fuck about them, to be honest. They did remold it as well, because they didn't really remold it too much. They just added mini-con ports on them. I didn't mention this before, but for all of the Armada versions, they did add mini-con ports on them, so they did actually remold some parts, which is really funny to think about, but yeah, they did. For those that didn't know as well, his tail becomes his whip, which has a few joints in it, but not a huge amount, which he can hold. But yeah, if you want one, for some reason this is like £70 these days. Hang on. I want to check. Let's check right here, right now, chat. Let's check right here, right now. eBay. I'm just taking it off screen. Armada Beast Wars Megatron. Will that work? I wonder. I bet that won't. Would it? Maybe Transmetal Megatron. Transmetal Megatron. Let's see. Oh, good. I've typed in, as you can see, Transmetal Megatron. We have Movie Masterpiece Megatron, Masterpiece Megatron, Movie Megatron. We got one Beast Wars Megatron there. Do we have any Transmetal? How about we put in most expensive? Oh, there were no oh, I didn't spell Transmetal right. That just well, that doesn't help. Transmetal, normal Transmetal. Where's the Armada one? Is there an Armada one? Would he even be listed? He should be listed as Transmetal Megatron. Well, there's not one on eBay, as far as I can see. If we put in Armada Megatron, maybe that would do it. Armada Megatron. We've got the Legacy version, Galvatron. Yeah, he's not on eBoo. Not on UK eBoo, at least. At least from things I can see. So I can't say I'm surprised, but... yeah. Orange says, I give several fucks about the mini cons in Fancy. Not that many, but a handful. Oh, in fact. Okay, but do you care about these ones, Orange? There are a few mini cons that are okay, but I don't think these ones. Sideburn, who's he a redo of? Who's he a redo of? He's a redo of Cybertron Backtrack. Oh, a redo of Armada Backtrack, who I don't know Armada Backtrack. Who's Armada Backtrack? He came with a set of some people as well. He came with Oval and Spiral. I don't know them. They don't look very good. He also comes with Skids, and Skids was, another one of them as well. Ugh. Yeah, the colors are crap. Yeah, they're not great. Exel says, try Armada Predacon. Oh, thank you. Okay, let's try that. That's a good call, Andy. Andy, he was named Megatron. Let's Transformers Armada Predacon. Yeah, let's try that. Back to eBoo. Oh, okay. Okay, we found it. That's the lowest price. You can buy his tail that's broken for £12 for a broken tail. £50. £50 used, but with its box. Does he have the mini cons as well? Ever used. Displayed in thing. Does it have it doesn't say, I don't think it says if it has the mini cons. Oh, with mini cons in box. So £50 if you want to get him. Woof. That's the cheapest one. The next cheapest one's £60 plus £4 postage. I'm tempted to make a best offer of like 30. Oh, the name wasn't Megatron, was it not? Oh yeah, it was Predacon or Predicon. And people are putting Predacon. Predacon then, if it makes them happy. And now it's still like 50 to £60. The most expensive one, £74. Wow, wee wah. So yeah, he's not what you call a cheap boy. So there you go. Next up is Optimus Primal, Transmetal 1 Optimus Primal. Monkey with a surfboard. Monkey mode. It's okay. It's not too bad. He looked like Monkey. I was never a big fan of his robot mode, to be fair. I do like his surfboarding monkey form. I do like the fact that you just kind of unfold the legs a little bit and peg them together awkwardly. And it's like, he's surfing, baby. He's surfing. Robot mode, I think is okay, in all fairness. I just don't like the face. I was never a fan of the face design. It looked weird. He looked more monkey than he did robot, and that didn't really do it for me with the sharp teeth and the simian head design. I was never personally a fan. Also, the big, boob cream on his chest always looked a bit weird to me. I did like his gimmick of like his backpack and shoulders flipped over the front and became like Gatling guns. I thought that was pretty neat. I thought that was a good idea. His basic gun was kind of lame. Like, do you want this weird like almost flare gun, or do you want the Gatling guns? I was like, I want the Gatling guns. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? There's also a purple version of him, a variant where instead of blue vacuum chrome, he had purple vacuum chrome. I don't know why, but that was the thing. In terms of recolors, he had a Botcon version, which is actually pretty good. Because I've repainted his face black with like red highlights. The robot mode, I think, the monkey mode suffered as he's red shoulders, red underpants, kind of basic beigey plastic, and then silver chrome. Not as good. The robot mode, much better served. But that was it. Nothing too extreme. I not as good as the Megatron, the Mega Megatron, the Mega Transmel 1 Megatron. Let's say it like that. That makes more sense. Yeah, this was fine. This was okay. I didn't have this one as a kid. I passed up that one because I went for this guy instead. I got Rampage. I remember going into the Toys R Us in America next to the Orlando Mall and seeing this guy and being like, I want this one. I don't know why I wanted him. I probably wanted him because he was big. It was a big fucking crab. And it looked cool. Now, unfortunately, Rampage does have some issues, given he has to turn into a tank. Mainly the way that his tank gimmick works, the back legs for the crab mode are just giant sticky up bits, which look really awkward compared to the rest of it. I do like the giant claws. The rubber treads just kind of shoving in the claws is also a little bit flumpy. I didn't even know you could store the missiles inside the claws, but apparently you can do that. That's a kind of a neat thing. A lot of chrome. For some reason, this guy's mistransformed him because you can hide the robot legs underneath the crab body a bit better. He's just kind of got the legs poking out of its ass for some reason. I don't know why. The tank mode. Again, he's got the legs sticking out of the ass. Why have you done that? Although the tank mode is not the most fun to transform it into, because you gotta finagle the rubber treads around the legs of the crab mode, which is definitely flumpy. It's not the easiest way to do it. It's not the most intuitive thing to do. That's how I'd say. It's not the most intuitive thing to do, and it's a bit like you scrunch it in and you go, okay. And the treads don't even move that well when they're in that mode. I did always wonder what the underparts of the crab claws did, because they just kind of poke outwards. It's a good looking design. And I think in terms of how it looks good. I just don't think it works very good. If you know what I mean. Play factor wise and transforming wise, it doesn't work as well as it looks. And the robot mode, again, kind of suffers. It looks okay, but it has issues. It's got a lot of back kibble. The crab claws just hang off the back. In principle, I don't mind that. The crab legs suck. The crab legs suck. They hang off the back of the shoulder pads because his shell kind of splits up and turns into shoulder pads. It's not accurate to the show, but I don't mind that. It gives him an impressive coverage. And then, like I say, the crab legs just poke backwards from there, which kind of sucks. And then the other crab legs just kind of go backwards underneath his forearms. They just hang off his forearms backwards again, which again kind of sucks. It's not great. His chest looks good. His robot head looks really good. It's just like the bits that were his crab legs suck the fun out of this figure. If you could unpeg them from his forearms, that would make the silhouette better. And if you could, I don't know, reduce the size of the shoulder pads, the chrome shoulder pads, that also would have been a bit of a boon. But the head design is perfect. It's not like accurate to the colors, but it's accurate to the design, is how I would phrase it. He also came with a stupid crap shotgun thing, which I don't ever remember him using, and then his cannon, which I do remember him using. The cannon had the same gimmick as Scavenger, where as you pushed it across the floor, the barrel would spin and it would automatically fire the missiles. That's quite cool. Works quite well. He had one other repaint, which was Oh no. Sorry, he had another one as well. The Japanese version, the head's more accurate. I don't know if the replacing the orange chest for silver is more accurate. Offhand, I can't remember, but they did that. So it looks significantly different in robot mode. In terms of crab mode, it looks pretty similar, right? Oh no, it doesn't. It's got the same kind of vacuum chrome orangey gold on it, but he's got this big purple X in kind of a lavender purple across his back, which makes sense. Or like prototype X. So that's quite nice. Yeah, so it is pretty different, although you wouldn't think so. The only other version is Shokarak, a very cool name, who was done for a Bokon. Turned him into a blue crab with bronzy color. Very cool. Looks great. I don't know if this has issues like with stability or like crumbling to dust or anything like that. But I think Shokarak looks pretty good. Apart from, obviously, he has the same issues where the crab legs just kind of fuck with the design quite a bit. Or the visuals quite a bit. One maybe I should have got instead as a kid is depth charge. Haven't had depth charge. Would like a depth charge. Manta Ray mode looks perfect. I think the Manta Ray looks really good. I don't know if it is because I've never had it, but yeah, just like looking at images, Manta Ray looks really good. The jet mode looks like what it did in the show. That's what I'll give you. I'll give you it looked like it did in the show. Depth charge was so much fun, says Arish. Highly recommend it. I'd like to get it at some point. I don't think he's desperately cheap either, if I remember. Orb. Let's have a check. Let's have a check. Beast Wars depth charge. We can price hunt. Oh, I can buy his instructions for £1. Fucking wow. Silverbolt. Why? Oh, actually. Pre-owned Silverbolt, £1. £5 postage, jeez. Wow, okay, I'm gonna have to watch that. I'm gonna have to watch that, Jesus, okay. Probably not a good idea, because anyone in the UK might see that and be like, hey, I'm gonna get that shit. So where's depth charge? I put in depth charge, and I'm not getting any depth charge. Is depth charge maybe one word? Maybe we'll change it to one word. One word depth charge. Tail, there we go. Incomplete. Fucking broken. I don't know if he's... The problem with a lot of eBay depth charge images are no one knows how to fucking transform depth charge. Like, look at this shit. What did they do to my boy? What have they done to my boy? Look at this. He's not even complete, and they're like 30 quid for this fucked up depth charge. Looks like Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump. What the fuck are these images? Is it just like a meme to not transform depth charge and put up some of the worst images you can possibly do on eBay for him? Yeah, it looks like if you want like a complete one, I don't care if it's signed. You can get one that's signed. I think it's complete. No, it's not complete. Is it complete? Comes complete in good. Apparently, it's in good condition. Please note, however. Well, hang on. Figure comes complete in good condition. A few sentences later, this figure is missing the tail sword. It's complete, but it's missing shit. It's not complete then, you moron. You fucking idiot. So depth charge is just not available for me for a good price at least. Rip, I know, right? I still know to transform him. Oh, how to transform him? Okay, that's good at least. The robot mode. Even this fucking image doesn't know how to fucking transform depth charge. You meant to leave the wings out. He has giant wings. He has a lot of back kibble, but that's the part of the character. Well, not part of the character, part of the design. My God. He comes with a torpedo launcher for his missiles, which is a little baby shark, which he used once in the show. Cool. He shoots discs out from his boob, and he also has a tail sword as well. Quite a few number of gimmicks, to be fair. Has a decent design, lot of back kibble. Orange says he's really good. I can't buy him because he's just not available. typically. But the best version of Depth Charge is the one I really want to get. I'd love to have Universe Depth Charge. This motherfucker is beautiful. It's got this, I can't even describe the color scheme because there's just so much they've done to it. They've made the wings for the manta ray really colorful and interesting to look at. They've painted and shaded. It's not just flat colors either. You can see they've gone in with like an airbrush around the white parts to add in this extra detail. And the robot mode, again, looks really fucking cool. Universe Depth Charge is not accurate to the show, but if you have both of these, I totally get it. They're both really interesting to look at. I really like the Universe Depth Charge. And again, the Universe one is probably really expensive. I wonder, I can't remember if he came with anyone. This figure was available individually or with Metals Inferno. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. That was, I was looking at something else. So I'm guessing the Universe one came on his own. Yeah, that makes sense. And the one I was reading there that came with Scavenger was the Japanese version. Check eBay for Universe Depth Charge. You really want me to do that, Excel Hedge? Okay, let's check. Universe Depth Charge. Nothing. Nothing. How about 2 words for Depth Charge? Nothing. Ain't got shit. I knew it wouldn't. To be fair, I knew it wouldn't have shit. I had a feeling. I remember looking a long time ago and didn't remember seeing anything. So yeah, it's just not available, at least in the UK, which I'm not surprised at. The last figure is Super Optimal Optimus. They gave him a whole new class just for himself. I've only had the crappy Trans Arts version, which doesn't work too well. I kind of liked it until I couldn't get parts to connect together. What part wouldn't connect together? It was the gun. The shoulder guns just wouldn't peg into any place, and I think they actually do. They had the pegs to connect in, but they just wouldn't connect for the Trans Arts version, which is shit. Otherwise, he is a not amazing. Put Transformers in front of it. Okay, I'll put Transformers in front of it. I don't think that'll help. Transformers, because usually it would either find them together. Transformers Universe Depth Charge. Nope. Nothing. No match found exactly the space between depth and charge, I should say. Nope. I told you, Excel Hedge. Nothing. Not for UK. Optimal Optimus, though. He is a quad changer. He has the beast mode, the car tank mode, which is very much like the rest of the vehicle modes for these figures. It's not great. Show me the flight mode. It won't show me the flight mode. He also could turn into a plane, which is also pretty crap, but it's better than the car mode. And then the Optimal Optimus itself mode. I don't think this is a super good figure in terms of what it transforms into. The things that it can transform into are not great. The fact that it can transform into him, that's kind of fun, but I don't think any of his modes look amazing. You know, you compare this to Depth Charge, or you compare it to the Transmetal 1 Megatron. Optimal Optimus, I don't think looks super good. He has a lot of gimmicks and features, which I think probably make up for it, and the actual transformation is kind of okay. But I don't think he looks great in many of his modes. I don't think the Japanese version is any different. And there is also Primal Prime, the Beast Machines version, where he's mainly red, blue, and white. Just an okay color scheme, in all fairness. It's not that bad. I don't love it, though. It's got lights and sounds. Way. This is a better picture of his Gorilla mode. The Gorilla mode's okay. Is the Gorilla mode different? No, I was just saying if it was different to the Japanese version. It looks pretty similar. The colors might be a little bit more vibrant on the Japanese version, or might just be how the photo was taken. It's hard to tell. Yeah, Optimal Optimus, a little bit, I think I could have got Optimal Optimus, but I decided not to when I was in America. Probably just as well. He's a messy boy. But that's it. That is all of these guys. This is all of the Transmetals of 95. Why did it list him as 99? Oh, I guess we can talk about him next time. It did have him for 98, though. I can show you. I'll prove to you he's 98. Oh, at least it was listed here as 98. See, Optimal Optimus. Then it's there's two versions of him. Oh, I'm stupid. It's right. The Japanese version is 99. The American version is 98. I'm an idiot. The answer is I'm just stupid. That's it. I love my oversized KO Perfect Effect Optimal Optimus. That did look like a decent one, to be fair. That did look decent. We'll quickly, very, very quickly, we'll probably talk about this next week as well, to be honest, when we have San Diego Comic-Con going on. But I'll have a quick discussion about my thoughts on Studio Series 86 Commander Optimus Prime. Right? Not huge. We're not going to go into huge detail because we can probably be talking about this with Excel Hedge or Big D next week for San Diego Comic-Con. I actually think this looks pretty good. We have size comparisons between the original toy, Earthrise, and now this new one. He's bigger, he's wider. That's good. We have a side shot where you can see his big backpack. Very much like the Masterpiece, which is a bit of a shame, but if the Masterpiece can't hide all that shit, then Commander Class ain't gonna hide that shit either, to be fair. You know. I think the proportions are pretty good, though, for the most part. I think they're better. I think in robot mode, he looks better than the Earthrise, because the Earthrise always had these weirdly long, lanky legs that just looked weird. The Prime looks a lot better. I think he's got butterfly joints so he can say never and hit Megatron in the face. No, sorry, not Excel Hedge. Orange or Big D. I'm stupid. My bad. It's getting late. Time's running out. He can open his boob up and have the Matrix inside. I don't care that Primes can do this. And the thing I really care the least about is he has a trailer. He has roller. I don't think he has this roller. Isn't it? No, he does have that roller. He has roller, and the command base. It can do the docking bay thing. He can store his gun and effects inside there, which I don't give a flying fuck about. Apparently, he can store, let's just say, one deluxe car bot, not included, inside the trailer with roller. So roller can go in there with one deluxe figure. Wow. This'll just be in a box with everything else, you know, who cares? I don't care about trailers. But I think generally the Optimus Prime looks pretty good. There was another shot of him. Yeah, some more shots of him, some more primo shots. The cool effects parts where you can have it so he's boosting up like in the movie. You know, after round you said unknown, you never fall, you never round, you will know. You got the explosion pushing him up into the air. That's pretty cool. I was actually thinking I haven't had an Optimus Prime since probably Generations Laser Prime. Do you remember that deluxe figure? I don't think I've bought an Optimus Prime, a G1-esque Optimus Prime since then. So for me, this is a good time to get one. And I've been fairly impressed recently with the Studio Series stuff, and I think it doesn't look too bad. I like the sculpt on the head; it looks very cartoony. It's got finger articulation, which again I don't really give a fuck about. He's got hip skirts. He's got no side hip skirts, which is kind of a shame. They got front and back, but not side ones. I saw people saying, "Oh, after all these years, you still can't get the grill to not be faked." I'm like, oh, fuck off. Who fucking cares? I don't care if they fake parts on Transformers as long as it looks good and accurate. And this looks accurate to the cartoon, right? You're not going to get this to look like this because it was different, you know. Some people. The axe is fine. It's very basic. The gun's fine. You know, it's what you would expect. When you see an Optimus Prime, you go, okay, what's it doing new? The transformation is going to be different. I guess the question is it going to be a fun transformation or is it going to be fiddly and faffy? That's the question. Also, are you getting your money's worth? I think that's a big question. I think that's a big relevant question. Are you getting your money's worth from this Optimus Prime for a Commander class figure? Because you could argue there has been a a lowering in what you get from your money from a commander class, from like the size of Skyfire and Skylinks. We don't talk about Rodimus Prime because that was a fucking mess. That was just a nightmare. To what like Motormaster can do, Ultra Magnus, etc., etc. Are you getting good value to money for this? Because this is going to be about 100, give or take, right? So is it going to be worth it? I was actually thinking as well, like, okay, shitty repaint time. We all know the shitty repaints that Hasbro will do for this, but here's one: damaged Optimus Prime or dying Optimus Prime. You don't do a gray version of him. You don't do pre-dead Optimus Prime. You could, if you wanted to. You know how you've got the battle damaged Prowl and Ironhide, and you've got Brawn and Ratchet. Maybe you could do something similar for the Prime, depending how his pieces for his boobs and his waist come together. Maybe you could replace those for so his on his left side round his abs. You could change that to like look either damaged or put a hole in it, like you did for Cliffjumper. You could crack the windows. If you wanted to go further, you could remold the head so it looked, crumpled and scuffed and stuff. And you don't give him a trailer. This is the important part. You don't give him a trailer for that. What you do is you give him a bed to lie on. So this is how you would keep it a commander class, because you couldn't sell this figure as a leader. You couldn't, because what the things you'd be losing Roller and the trailer, and the trailer clearly doesn't fucking do shit. So the value isn't the trailer, the value isn't Roller. I'd say the value isn't. If you combined Roller, the trailer, and all the effects parts together, and the axe, I still don't think you could sell Prime as a leader. I still don't think you could do that. If you sold him as a commander still, and you replace this for a bench for him to die on, not die on as in the character die on, to die on, that's how you could justify the damaged Optimus Prime dying version. I think that'd be quite cool as well. We've never had a crumpled up, fucked up version of Prime. XL Hedge says, I want Optimus Prime in G2 colors. So you want his trailer to be black? Okay, I mean, fair enough. G2 Optimus Prime is one of the worst, he's one of the shit G2 figures, so I don't know why you'd want that. No, dot, or end. Andy, do Quintesson Zombie from Season 3. That would require way too much remolding, and Studio Series doesn't do that. This would be a Studio Series figure. Or part of the Studio Series line for the We're Dying range. So it's an interesting idea to do Quintesson Zombie. But that wouldn't happen because it would be potentially a Studio Series thing. With his coffin. Orange says, here, they're all fake parts. At the end of the day, it's a toy. I wouldn't go like that. I wouldn't say that. They're not all fake parts. You can have legit parts that do transform and keep the same look. Like Jazz's chest for the Studio Series, that's not faked. That's just his chest. But I don't mind faking parts. Like the fake parts or the fake chest for Origins Jazz and Origins Wheeljack. I don't mind that stuff because there's no other fucking way you can do it. If it was a masterpiece toy, I think there's a bit more leeway because there's way more of a budget into those figures. You get into the thing of like Masterpiece versus Commander. Commanders doesn't nearly have as much of a budget as that, as far as I'm concerned. So I think it's fine to be like, okay, fake parts, that's fine. I don't care. As long as it transforms well, it's not impeded by shit. I think that's fine. One thing this won't have, which I'm sure people would be sad about, he won't have his dumpy wheels on his booty, which I'm sure will get the weird thirsty part of the fandom really depressed. But for the most part, yeah, this will probably be an Optimus Prime I buy, and I can't say I would have been interested in that for a long time, so that's kind of interesting. The question is, what's Megatron gonna do, right? Are they gonna do a HasLab Studio Series Megatron to crowdfund it? Is that the only way you could have Gun Megatron? because that'd be really shitty. Understandable, and they'd need to say explicitly that that's the reason why, but that would be really shitty. Orange says, yeah, imagination comes into play, and that's okay. Yeah, as long as they're fun to transform, I don't really give a shit. But I think, chat, that's what we're going to have to end it for today. Next week will be San Diego Comic-Con. As far as I'm aware, hopefully we'll have all of the info out, all of the images out, by the time that show runs around. I won't talk about what I've been up to this week, what I got for fun. I actually got, like, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Damn, I got like 14 Transformers last week. Holy shit. Most of them were in packs. I didn't get 14 individually. I bought them in like a pack of like... I got the mech ideas or mech things, whatever. Legends Headmasters. So there was like the 3 Decepticon ones, the 4 Autobot ones. I got the Autobot Unite 5-pack, so there's 5 of them. And I got the Ironhide and the Prowl dying pack, so there's another 2-pack. So it all mushed together and like, oh wow, they got a lot of Transformers last week. God damn. Orange says Studio Series Megatron is coming next year and he'll probably be a tank. Yep. Yeah. It's fucking depressing, but yeah, that's unfortunate. XL Hedge says, Andy, did you hear about the upcoming Legacy of Kain Kickstarter? I didn't. I'll only have faith in it once it gets funded and when it becomes real. When it's on Steam. When it's on Steam's page for like a pre-order or early access, that's when I'll believe in it and be like, oh, it's a real thing. I'm also not sure what I want from a Legacy of Kain game in this day and age, because I saw what they were going to do with the Legacy of Kain game at one point. You know, when you had this weird, like, you could be a human and then you could go to the Shadow Realm, whatever it was. And it wasn't Raziel, it wasn't Kain, it wasn't set in that period. I was like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing? It looked terrible. Terrible. Anyway, thanks for coming on by, people. We'll be back next week at 8 o'clock in the evening UK time. We're on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and stuff as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast, ccbunker.weebly.com, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn. I'm Decade Andy, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, most of those places, streaming video games and whatnot. Anyway, my voice is dying. I need to go. Thanks for coming by. I'll see you suckers next time. Bye-bye, everybody!